In the last talk, I mentioned that everything after the I am is a story. I want to expound on that a little bit because in many ways, that, I don't want to say lesson, but those words are just a step in a direction. And we're really going places here with this non-duality thing, steps and levels. I am is also a story. It's just a concept. True nature is prior to the I am. And if you think about it, I am, there could be an implication, I am not. If you wanted to tackle or attempt to battle with the intellect and the mind to figure this all out, which is a fruitless effort. No effort is required. So I am is a concept because it's a thought arising. The reason that there was the talk about everything after the I am is that it can be helpful to see initially that what you are is not the labels that come after I am. Once there is some sort of understanding in that regard, then we can move to, in that station, if you will, and you don't stay in any of those specific stations, then you can get to the I am also being a concept that should be discarded, a thorn to remove a thorn. When we're young, when this body was little, there was no distinction between no distinction between self and others. It was all one thing. There was a knowing there. And then it's given a name, Noel. And beyond that, then a whole new list of things start. What do you want to, adults start asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? And so then it starts, it just starts this series of next things. What is next? The mind always wants to know what is next. And it's not the fault of any one person because it's just consciousness doing what it does. You have one job, and your job is to be. That's it. And you're doing it fabulously. You're doing a wonderful job. Good on ya. It's just to be. It's not even to be I am. It's not even to realize I am. It's just to be this. And you're welcome to you're welcome to run around and make a big fuss of all this. To feel as if you need to make a mark on the world or change it or make it better. I guess arguably if you wanted to change the world, first of all, you are it, and it is changing, but it's not, because it never can be something different than it is. It's always just this. But if you need something, if you need a call to action to change the world, you could run around and tell people that the world doesn't need changing. Because it doesn't. And change it to what? Better than it is now? Better than it was? You don't have to make your job to change you or change the world or change others. You're welcome to. You're welcome to play that game. But the only job that you have is to be. It's so simple. I know there's frustration. There can be resistance that arises when it is said, it's so simple and so ordinary, but it just is. It's nothing more and nothing less than this. Your job is to be. So the I am being a concept, I've said this in other talks, and I really, it's a phrase that comes up as useful a lot. And Stephen Walensky, I first heard Stephen Walensky mention it, and it's from Nisargadatta Maharaj, where he said, if it can be conceived or perceived, discard it. If you've watched any of these or listened to any of these talks, you've heard me say it before. If it can be conceived or perceived, discard it. If it can be thought of or seen, it's not you. That's not it. And so that's why the labels and the words after I am are just stories. They're just concepts. There's thoughts arising about what you are. But it's also why even I am is, you can discard that as well. Because that in and of itself is a concept. You're prior to that. I am can come and go. I am the body. The body can come and go. So that's not it. If it can come and go, it's not it. What you are was not born, does not die. It's all one thing. It's all this. Interestingly enough, when if you meditate on or think about I am, it's there can be a relaxing. There can be this sort of I get it. but even those that I get it is sort of the ego, the mind coming in and claiming ownership of some sort of understanding. And so if there's a feeling of peace when there is the thought arises, I am, or some meditation on this, and there's no need to meditate, but I'm just saying think about it, then that's fine. But don't stay there. Don't stay in that I am place. Consider that true nature is deeper, not deeper, closer than close than even the I am, because the I am is a concept. Any concepts that come up are not it, which is interesting because every single one of these talks is just a bunch of blah 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 concepts, pointers, attempts at assistance, and they're not it, and yet they are part of it as well, which is kind of cuckoo, but it's what is. That's what's going on here. It's just what's happening. I see, there are people talk about phases and steps, and that has a stickiness to it that's not necessarily, because that's kind of not it, but there's also an understanding of why there's that. So you can start with I am, period. You can stop there. But then when you rest in that, realize that the I am is also a concept and should be discarded. Do your job. Just be. That's all that's necessary. That's all that is required. And you don't even have to do that. You can make this whole thing as confusing as you want, as difficult as you want, as sticky and resistant, and you can be battle worn, scars, everything. And that's it as well. That's being. That's why you can't do this wrong. You can't do it incorrectly. You can't get better at being. You can just be. So do that. Or don't.